Hello and welcome back to another episode of the Awkward Dungeon Master. Today I want to talk to you guys about some alternatives for official D&D miniatures. A lot of us don't have a ton of money to just drop right away on miniatures, so here are some awesome options for you to use in the meantime. So the first thing that I want to talk to you guys about is candy. Candy is super fun because you can get the multi-color packs of Hershey Kisses, so it can help you keep track of the different monsters you have. They work great for goblins, little low-level 1-inch monsters, and then when your players kill them, you can totally let them eat the chocolate, which makes it way more fun. For the longest time, I used Reese's as my large base monsters for like ogres and trolls and things like that at low level. And everybody's like, oh my god, I want to eat the Reese's cup, so I have to kill the troll first, before anything else. Right now, I need that Reese's cup. And then it was a race for everyone to get the kill on the monster that was the candy that they wanted the most. Now, if you have players that don't like chocolate, I did recently realize that Starbursts are also they're a 1-inch as well, so that works out pretty well. Another option you can do is, just walk up and down the candy aisle at your local grocery store, or even the cookie aisle. I'm sure there are some cookies that are about the right size for a 2-inch miniature, so you can have some other options for people if you have food allergies and things in your group. Some other nice and cheap and easy things I want to talk to you about. So if you have ever seen these little dragon glass bead things that you can get for like fish tanks and stuff, you can find them for really cheap in the crafting section, just a couple bucks for a big bag of them, and there's a bunch of different colors, and then you can use that as your little 1-inch monsters. They also work great whenever you get later on, you actually pick up some minis. These make great fires or, like little magical items and things to entice your players. They're like, what is that? Why'd you put that on the map? I have to know now. Another thing I realized recently is that the tops of beer caps are actually also a 1-inch size. So if you just save the tops off of your beer bottles, those work great too. And also the rings off of Gatorade and soda bottles. So this is from one of the larger bottles of Gatorade from our local gas station, and we just saved the ring afterwards, and it works great for a large base now. I use them for Moonbeam as well, because Moonbeam is a 10-foot diameter sphere. Other things you may want to check out, there are the Tubes kids toys. So if you go to the kids section at like a Target or something like that, they have the big tubs of different little animals. So these ones I love. We're doing an ocean campaign next. So I found a tub that was all sea animals, and they're fairly accurate, and most of them are a large base, so they're going to work pretty well. So like I got some manta rays and some sharks, and they look pretty damn good, I'm not going to lie. I don't have to paint them, so even better. Another thing you guys can check out, Michaels let me take some pictures of some of their product. So they carry these little wooden discs. I have some discs here, but my husband 3D printed them for me. Again, pretty cheap option, and then you can reuse them. I have a friend who likes to use the wooden discs, and then he prints off pictures of what the monster is, and then he just tapes or glues them onto the disc so that you can see what it is, which is nice. This is going to sound silly, guys, but we went to a convention recently, and they gave us some Pogs. Apparently Pogs are getting popular again. They're about a 1.5 inch, but they're close enough that you could use them as a large base mini. So if you happen to have some Pogs laying around from back in the day, or if you're a younger kid and you're getting into Pogs, they were a thing once. They're pretty fun. But they'll work pretty decently for a large base mini. Another thing you can do is you can go to, again, the kids aisle. I just walk up and down toy aisles and things. People must think I'm weird. They're like, oh, do you have a child? I'm like, no. I need stuff for Dungeons and Dragons. Don't judge me. So if you go to just the toy aisle, there's those little monsters. Not monsters. Everything's a monster to me. I'm a DM. It's fine. So if you go to the toy aisle at somewhere like Target or even Michael's, again, they have a bunch of, I think they're called zoo animals. They're just loose little critters. They had like a dragon that was a really good size and the right color for D&D. And then they also have stuff like, these are some giant octopuses. Since we are going to be doing an underwater campaign again, these are awesome for some random low encounter out in the ocean. And then you can pick up things like I got some bears for my druids and stuff to turn into, so that's really fun. And also, this is gonna sound absolutely ridiculous, guys, but go to the miniatures, like the train section at any local hobby store, or even a fairy garden section somewhere that has that kind of thing. They have the coolest miniature stuff. I have found some things like, I have this little crystal globe, and I found a carpet the other day when I was at one of those stores, and they've got all kinds of neat stuff. Definitely go through and look that kind of thing up. All kinds of little bridges and structures. It's freaking amazing. And along that same vein, there's usually a miniature section around Christmas for their little villages. If you go there, I have picked up trees for dirt cheap before, especially on the after Christmas sales again. Do it. It's awesome. You will regret nothing. People have also started doing a lot of villages for Halloween, and I found some really cool little tombstones, and they have like the gates into a graveyard and that kind of thing. So check that stuff out too. It's awesome. Alright guys, and I cannot stress this one enough. Everybody wants to look for the 1-inch grid paper, and it's super expensive online. Vinyl maps are a lot of cost up front, and then you have to keep in markers and stuff. But one really cheap alternative for you is to hit someplace like a dollar store in their wrapping section, and they have wrapping paper. That sounds ridiculous, but some of that wrapping paper has little 1-inch grids on the inside, and then you can draw your maps directly onto the back of the wrapping paper. And it's super cheap, it's super easy, you can just throw it away when you're done. So that's about it for alternatives to official D&D miniatures adventurers. I hope you found this video helpful, and until next time, keep it rolling.